You can also visualize drug trend data. You have the ability to search drug trend data to create visualizations for different drug trends. And you can tailor these visualizations to specific geographic areas and timelines, which I'll show you guys how to do in a few minutes. We also publish public health bulletins on this website. They are based off of trends we are seeing in Massachusetts, and they range from being alerts for a more like as soon as possible notice, but also just information shares based off of trends we are seeing. And these come in different languages. And yeah, just want to provide some context for the data we're seeing. We also share different public resources so people can learn more about the substances in the drug supply and drug checking as a whole. And here we'll click, and this should direct us to StreetCheck. So this is the front page of StreetCheck. Here is where you can enter your end user ID if you have one, and then that will allow you to visualize the sample results, see the test strip result, the FTIR results, and lab results when those are available. We're going to start over in drug trends and data in this upper left tab. And we're going to search drug trends data to see the different trends that can be visualized there. So let's start with where we were looking in Rhode Island. We can look at presence of xylazine in samples over time on some larger scale geographic areas. So this is just going to power up a visualization that is updated every 2 weeks with our most recent inputted data. And so this is a visualization that will cover all the way back to 2020 and just visualize the presence of xylazine over time. As we can see, there's been an uptick throughout 2024. And if you look at these numbers, the 2209 number is the end. So there's going to be the number of samples is 2,209. And of those, 65% were negative for xylazine. And then 35% were positive for xylazine. If we want to take a closer snapshot look over here on the left side of the screen, we can narrow down where we're looking. So I'm going to just, we'll say Massachusetts for now. And that will shift the data to just look at the samples we've received from Massachusetts that have been positive and negative for xylazine over the past few years. Then we can also go as far down to county or town and city. What also we can do is look at the primary illicit substance. So if we want to look at xylazine and just samples that have fentanyl, we can do that. So that trend there. We could also look in something else like cocaine. And that's going to be a lot less significant. There's not going to be as much xylazine in those as expected. And then let me see if I can also toggle down. Sometimes that's a bit finicky to just look at the year to date. It's working. Then we can also take a quick peek at some of the other trends that can be visualized, such as the presence of fentanyl in samples over time, expected versus detected, primary chemical active cuts and active cuts, different fentanyl analogs, and relative ratios of xylazine to fentanyl, and combination of active cuts detected in samples over time. So we can take a quick peek at it in active cuts. And this is just going to be kind of like Mercy had mentioned earlier, the sugars or bulking agents that are seen in different samples and different dope samples. So again, this can be toggled over here just to a specific time period if you want to see. And then these are going to be the visualizations right here. So cellulose, dicalcium phosphate, and inositol, these are all different things that are added in the dope supply to just, that aren't necessarily producing a physiological effect on the human body. And just some of these words are really random. We don't expect everyone who's using this site to have necessarily an understanding of what these different substances are, which is why we also have what's that substance over here on the upper left tab. This is going to provide a resource that we can, where we made videos that can provide a little bit more explanation for different inactive cuts and just other things that might show up in the drug supply. And just give a little bit more context and explanation as to what these things are for someone who may not know what it is upon initially seeing that word. So these are all meant to be short tidbits of information just to answer a quick question that anyone might have if they see it on their result. Very handy. Then one of the other highlights on the StreetCheck website is finding drug checking services. We have an interactive map here where you can kind of see where we offer drug checking services. If you hover on the red pin, you can see if drug checking services are available every day at this site. If it's a site we pop in and visit with our machine, if they collect samples and then we do the testing in real time or at a different point in time. And then we also link it to the website and directions, just so everyone is aware of what's going on at these specific sites. And it's a really handy resource. This is where we usually refer any emails that we get, people asking where can they access drug checking and things like that. Then we also have a few other tabs here. This is just a few more resources for training and getting people more familiar with what kind of training and learning goes into the drug checking world, into being a drug checking technician. We also have a tab for our research, which includes the Network One, Points, Photo Voice projects that are also going on the MADS team. And we have publications over here. I mentioned public health bulletins earlier. So this is just the tab where you can find them. We did one on nitazines, we did one on Tenubin. And these are just meant to be a quick one-pager to give some quick information. Yeah. So those can be found there. We also have them available in Spanish and Portuguese under this tab right here. And then this last tab is just some public free resources to learn more about drug checking and the drug supply. And these go into a little bit more depth than we have on the StreetCheck website itself. So super handy there. I think we have some going up in California, in San Diego. Just anyone who reaches out to us and needs a platform to collect that data and to integrate, like if they're starting up and they're not sure how to organize their data, we're able to kind of give them that platform so they can enter their data there and then use the website and have access to these visualizations for their sites.